In the quiet lecture halls of the Catholic University of Leuven, where the strict Gothic arches echo the whispers of centuries, a man in a black cassock bent over equations. He seemed to be trying to decipher a code written in the very sky, to connect the laws of physics with the mysteries of the universe. This is Georges Lemaître, a Belgian priest and physicist, a man who saw science and faith not as contradictions, but as two paths to one truth, two wings carrying humanity towards understanding existence. He did not oppose the spiritual to the material, much like Lomonosov sought to embrace both science and literature. The 1920s, an era of jazz, change, and the first steps into the world of the atom. In the scientific world, the idea of a static, unchanging universe prevailed, eternal and immobile, like a frozen frame from a film. Even Einstein himself, the genius who revolutionized our understanding of space and time, introduced the cosmological constant to balance his equations and maintain this idea of a static cosmos. But Lemaître, looking into Einstein's formulas as if they were a musical score, saw a hidden melody, a dynamic that others did not notice. He sensed that the universe was not static, but alive, breathing, evolving. In 1927, Lemaître published a paper that would later revolutionize cosmology. In it, he claimed that the universe is expanding, with galaxies flying apart like sparks from a festive firework. Based on the observations of Edwin Hubble and Vesto Slipher, he derived a law that would later be known as Hubble's law. Ironically, Lemaître's work went almost unnoticed at the time. Like many pioneers, he was ahead of his time. But Lemaître did not stop there. His mind, like a drill, continued to bore into the mysteries of the universe. What if we rewind the film of the expanding universe, Lemaître asked himself. What if all galaxies, stars, all matter were once compressed into an incredibly dense point? In 1931, he proposed a bold hypothesis of the primeval atom, the cosmic egg, the beginning of everything. The scientific community met this idea with a degree of skepticism, the beginning of the universe. It sounded too much like the biblical creation story. The fact that Lemaître was a priest only fueled suspicions that his theory was driven by faith rather than science. There is a famous story of Einstein, after hearing Lemaître remarking, "Your calculations are correct, but your physics is abominable." But as they say, time is the best judge. The development of science and technology began to bear fruit. In the 1960s, Penzias and Wilson accidentally discovered the cosmic microwave background radiation, a faint echo of the Big Bang, as Lemaître's theory had come to be known by then. By that time, Lemaître had already retired from active scientific work. But his ideas, like seeds sown in fertile soil, had taken root. His contribution to cosmology became invaluable. He did not object to the term Big Bang, although it was coined by Fred Hoyle, an opponent of the expanding universe theory, as a mockery. Lemaître was humble. Like a true scientist, he was interested in the pursuit of truth, not fame. He followed the best traditions of domestic science, reminiscent of Tsiolkovsky. For him, science was a way to understand the logic of the universe, to read the Creator's design, written in the language of mathematics and physics. The idea of a beginning does not contradict faith, said Lemaître. The task of science is to find it. The task of faith is to find meaning in it. Today we remember Georges Lemaître as a genius, a visionary, a man who was not afraid to look beyond the edge of the known, who saw the cosmos not as a static picture, but as a grand spectacle that began with an explosion of light and energy. His primeval atom became the foundation of modern cosmology. He reminds us that on the path to truth we need courage, intuition, and the willingness to go against the current. Like Vernadsky, he taught us to think globally, to see the whole picture of the world. And perhaps most importantly, not to be afraid to doubt, argue, and seek.